There will come a moment, so sudden, so deafening, that the entire world will be shaken to its core. A moment when the mountains that have stood for millennia will shatter like glass, the oceans will boil with rage, and the very sky above will split open like torn fabric. But before that moment arrives, there will be an eerie silence. A pause so profound, it will feel like the whole of creation is holding its breath. This is not a pause of peace, but the tension before the collapse, the silence before the final blow. Every sign has already come to pass. The major signs have paraded across history like thunderclaps. Dajjal, the return of Isa, the appearance of Gog and Magog, the smoke, the sun rising from the west, the beast from the earth, and the massive landslides. The minor signs, too, have filled the world. Corruption, materialism, broken family ties, widespread dishonesty, and moral decay. The last hour now waits for no one. From the very beginning, the angel Israfil has waited with unmatched obedience. He has not blinked, has not moved, and has not questioned. The trumpet, a colossal instrument of divine command, has been at his lips since the moment he was created. He does not know when he will be ordered to blow. He only waits. And then, by the command of Allah, that moment arrives. In the blink of an eye, the trumpet is blown for the first time. The sound is not like anything heard on earth. It is the roar of the end itself, echoing through time and space, vibrating through every atom of existence. A man tending his camel in the open desert is the first to hear it. He stops. His heart fails, his body collapses, and that is just the beginning. The sound spreads faster than light, reaching cities, villages, mountaintops, and the ocean depths. People drop where they stand. Parents, children, leaders, the poor, the powerful. None can bear the weight of the sound. Birds fall mid-flight. Ships crash in oceans. The earth itself convulses. This is not mere noise. This is the undoing of life. But the trumpet is not blown just once. There are two blasts. The first one unleashes a terror never before witnessed. The heavens tremble. The earth screams. Skies once blue split apart, turning red like molten metal. The stars, the mighty stars, begin to fall. The moon and sun, so long relied upon for light and time, lose all meaning as they crash into each other. And the universe, the vast, expanding universe, reels as if it too is terrified. Mountains become weightless dust, flying through the air like feathers. The seas, once serene, catch fire. The creatures of land, sea, and air are all brought to their end. Human hearts explode with fear before their bodies even fall. This is not a war. It is not a disaster. It is the end. And even the souls of the dead are not left untouched. Allah, in His power, causes the souls that had once departed long ago to be returned to their bodies, only for all to be silenced again. Not even the great prophets and messengers are exempt. Each is rendered unconscious, save for those Allah wills to spare. Musa alayhi salam, who once fell unconscious at the mere sound of his Lord, will be protected this time. The highest angels, Jibril, Mikael, Israfil, and the angel of death will remain. The martyrs, honored by their sacrifice, will be shielded from the horrors of the first blast. But the rest are gone. And yet in the midst of this total annihilation, not everything is lost. There are things that cannot die. The throne of Allah, unchallenged and eternal, remains above all. The kursi, the divine chair, remains. Allah al-Mahfuz, the preserved tablet on which all that was and all that will be is written, still exists. Jannah, the eternal garden, is untouched. Jahannam, the furnace of divine justice, burns still. And the angels assigned to both paradise and hell continue in obedience. Then, when all is destroyed and all creation silenced, Allah declares to the nothingness that stretches across existence, "To whom belongs the kingdom today?" No voice replies. There is no pharaoh to claim it, no tyrant to shout, no arrogant soul to boast. There is only silence. And Allah the Most High responds to himself, to Allah, the One, the Irresistible. What follows is unlike anything before. The earth lies shattered, the skies collapsed, the stars gone, and yet from above a command is given. Rain, not ordinary rain, but a miraculous downpour decreed by Allah. Thick white drops fall upon the earth, drops that hold the secret to life. Slowly, the ground begins to stir. Where only dust and shattered remains existed, bones begin to form. From a tiny, indestructible bone at the base of the spine, the Ajbu Ajdanab, new skeletons rise. The structure of every man, woman, and child who ever lived is reconstructed by the will of the Almighty. The flesh grows over bone, skin wraps around flesh. Bodies lie there fully formed, but lifeless. For this is only the beginning. Time passes, decades, centuries. How long? Only Allah knows. There is no sun or moon to count the days, no clocks, no calendars, just stillness once again. But it is a different stillness. This one is pregnant with purpose. Then, after 40 long years, a second trumpet is blown. The sound is more powerful than before. It does not destroy, it awakens. Souls return with force, crashing back into bodies now whole. Graves burst open, one after another. From every corner of the earth, humanity rises. Eyes widen in horror and awe. The dead walk again, not in some mythical tale, but in the truth of the final hour. The resurrection has begun. The ground trembles with the weight of resurrection as graves are torn open by divine command. Every land, every sea, every mountain yields its dead. Skeletons clothed in flesh, bodies reawakened by the will of Allah begin to emerge, stumbling, gasping, confused. Some rise whole, others piece together from every corner of the world, from scattered ashes, from deep oceans, from the bellies of beasts. A man eaten by a lion reappears fully formed. A woman drowned at sea emerges with dripping hair. Those who were burned to dust, whose remains were scattered to the winds, are now brought back from the particles of air. The earth, acting on Allah's command, returns every trace of every soul ever created. No one is forgotten, no one is missed. On that day, even those who died centuries apart from one another rise side by side. Pharaoh may stand next to a modern tyrant. A poor man of ancient times may find himself shoulder to shoulder with kings of industry. Time collapses, generations merge. Humanity, billions upon billions, stretches as far as the eye can see, like locusts swarming across the face of a new earth. But this new earth is unlike the one they knew. It is leveled flat, no hills, no valleys, no familiar landmarks. It is blindingly white and smooth, pure from the stains of sin and bloodshed. It bears no memory of human arrogance or war, and on this vast, shining plain, people begin to move. Some walking in dignity, some crawling, some stumbling in fear. A dreadful realization begins to settle in. This is the day they were warned about. This is the day. They look to one another, but no one has answers. They begin to murmur. The air grows thick with anxiety. Shame grips their hearts. Their eyes drop to the ground. They remember their deeds, their prayers, or the lack of them. They remember moments they thought forgotten, and the fear that builds is not fear of death. Death has already come. It is the fear of truth, of exposure, of justice. Some people stand tall and radiant. These are the believers whose hearts were firm in faith. They are not consumed by panic. They are calm in the face of judgment. They know they prepared for this day, but others are overwhelmed by dread. Those who mocked the truth, who denied signs, who indulged in arrogance. They are raised blind, stumbling in darkness. Their ears do not hear. Their tongues do not speak. Their faces are hollow, twisted in horror. One will cry out, "Oh my Lord, why have you raised me blind when I used to see?" And the reply will come, cutting like thunder, "Because you ignored my signs, and today you too will be ignored." People try to scatter. They run in every direction, seeking escape. But there is none. No cave, no building, no secret corner. The angels are everywhere. As soon as one rises from the grave, two angels seize them by the arms. There is no discussion, no delay. Every soul is led forward, to the next stage, to the field of gathering. Those who died in pride now walk humiliated. The tyrants who strutted with arrogance are now bent and broken. One woman who used to wail loudly over the dead and never repented is raised wearing clothes made of sulfur. She claws at her own skin, tearing it, bleeding, maddened by guilt. The disbelievers are driven forward, dragged with humiliation. No one can rest. Whenever they try to stop, they are kicked forward, mocked by the very angels they defied. Some are crawling on their faces, not because they are blind or crippled, but because of the disgrace that weighs them down. The punishment is visible in their posture. According to one narration, the field of gathering will be in the land of Sham, Greater Syria. Another narration mentions the plain of Arafat. Either way, it will be a land made new, different from the earth we now know. Someone once asked the prophet, "How will disbelievers be made to walk on their faces?" And he replied, "The one who made them walk on 2 feet, can he not make them walk on their faces?" The gathering is not chaotic in movement, but it is overwhelming in sheer number. Every soul that ever lived gathered into one place, under one sky, on one day. And they wait, and wait, and wait. With the sun lowered to a mere mile above their heads, the heat becomes unbearable. The sun's blaze is no longer filtered by atmosphere or protected by clouds. It stares down upon creation with a terrifying intensity. People begin to sweat profusely. Sweat pours from every body until it forms rivers across the plain. But it is not the same for everyone. Some stand with sweat at their ankles, others up to their knees. Some drown in it entirely. The sweat is not just a physical torment. It is a measure of guilt. Each person's sweat rises in proportion to their sins, and so the suffering becomes personal. It reveals the hidden self. In this immense heat, this unbearable pressure, humanity begins to plead with Allah. "O our Lord, release us. We would rather be judged, rather be sent to hell, than remain in this agony." It is no longer fear of punishment that drives them, but desperation for anything to end the wait. And yet the wait continues. The day of judgment has begun, but the judgment itself has not started. That will only happen when Allah wills. Amid this turmoil, only a select few remain at peace. Under the throne of Allah, there is shade, a sacred, cool protection that no one can manufacture, no tree can cast, no mountain can provide. And under this shade rest 7 kinds of people honored beyond description. A just ruler, someone who led with fairness and upheld justice even when it was difficult. 2 young men who grew up worshipping Allah, resisting the temptations of youth, holding fast to their prayer and obedience. A man whose heart was always attached to the mosque, who longed for it when he was away, who felt peace only in the house of Allah. 2 people who loved each other solely for Allah's sake, meeting and parting for no worldly reason. A man who resisted sin when tempted by beauty, replying with trembling sincerity, "I fear Allah." One who gave charity so secretly that even his left hand did not know what his right hand had given. And finally, a person who remembered Allah in solitude, whose eyes filled with tears from the depth of sincerity and awe. These people do not sweat. They do not panic. They do not fear. They rest in peace while the rest of humanity burns under the sun and the weight of their own actions. But for the rest, those who spent their lives in heedlessness, in arrogance, in rebellion, this is only the beginning. The day stretches endlessly before them. The judgment has yet to come, and every heartbeat, every drop of sweat, every cry for relief echoes across the plain as a reminder. This is the day no one can escape, the day of absolute truth. Then the moment arrives when the veil is lifted and the truth is laid bare. A deafening silence falls over the field of gathering as the next phase begins, when every soul is confronted by the reality they once ignored, denied, or clung to. The book of deeds is presented, and there is no escaping its pages. These are not ordinary books. They are alive. They are records etched into reality itself, compiled by angels who missed nothing. Every whisper, every look, every secret action done in the darkest hour is written, sealed, and preserved. The books are handed out. Some receive them in their right hands, and their faces light up with hope and relief. Others are handed their books in their left hands or behind their backs, and terror consumes them instantly. But it doesn't end there. The books speak, limbs testify, skin bears witness. The very body you used to sin with becomes the evidence against you. A man will cry out, "Why are you testifying against me?" And his hands will reply, "The one who created us commanded us to speak today." His feet will say, "We walked where he forbade us." His eyes will declare, "We looked at what he made unlawful." The man who thought he was clever, hiding his sins behind closed doors, now finds himself betrayed by his own flesh. The earth itself speaks. It recounts every step taken upon it, every conversation it overheard. Trees, stones, even the black stone in the Kaaba, all will testify on that day. Even the fingers used to count dhikr will speak in favor of the believer, saying, "This hand remembered Allah." Nothing is forgotten, nothing is exaggerated. Justice on that day is perfect. Then begins the journey to seek intercession. Mankind, drowning in the heat, blinded by fear, overwhelmed by guilt, turns to the only ones they think might help, the prophets of Allah. They rush to Adam alayhi salam and beg, "You are the father of mankind. Allah created you with his own hands. Intercede for us." But Adam replies with sorrow, "Myself, myself. I cannot help you today. I disobeyed Allah. Go to Nuh." They run to Nuh alayhi salam, the first of the messengers, and beg him to speak on their behalf. He too declines, saying, "Myself, myself. My people called me a liar. Go to Ibrahim." They find Ibrahim alayhi salam, the friend of Allah, but he too replies, "I cannot intercede. I told 3 statements that I regret. Go to Musa." Musa alayhi salam, who spoke directly to Allah, declines as well, burdened by the weight of having once taken a life. He sends them to Isa. They rush to Isa alayhi salam, but he too says, "This is not for me. Go to Muhammad." And so finally the people turn to the final prophet, our beloved Muhammad, peace be upon him, and he does not turn them away. He says, "Yes, I am for this." He approaches the throne of Allah, falls into prostration, and begins to praise his Lord with words never uttered before, words inspired by Allah himself. He remains in sujood for as long as Allah wills, until Allah says, "Raise your head, O Muhammad. Ask and it will be granted. Intercede and it will be accepted." He then pleads for the judgment to begin, and because of his intercession, the day of reckoning finally starts. Gates begin to open, scales are prepared, records are brought forth, and those who believed with sincerity, even if their sins were mountains, begin to see the fruits of mercy. Those with true faith, even the size of a mustard seed, are rescued. Many are pulled from the brink of hell. Countless believers whose deeds were meager are saved by the prophet's intercession. Martyrs intercede for their families. The Quran intercedes for those who recited it. Fasting speaks on behalf of the patient. Children who died young intercede for their parents. The doors of mercy open wide, and wave after wave of believers is forgiven. But while mercy rains down upon the sincere, another drama unfolds. Shaytaan, the ancient enemy, makes his final appearance. Those who followed him in life, knowingly or blindly, turn to him, pleading for relief. They cry, "You led us here, save us now." And he responds with cold truth. "Allah promised you the truth. I only whispered. I never forced you. I had no power over you. You followed me by choice, so blame yourselves. I cannot help you now, and you cannot help me." And with that, Shaytaan too is dragged away in chains, cursed and humiliated, his final deception complete. The disbelievers and the hypocrites attempt one last trick. They lie in Allah's court. They deny their sins. They try to argue, but their bodies testify. The angels bring forth the records, and Allah, the just, commands that they be thrown into hell. They are seized by angels, powerful, unmerciful, without delay. These people are dragged on their faces, screaming, cursing, begging, but mercy is no longer available to them. They are hurled into the fire, while Allah declares, "This is the day of truth. My curse is upon the liars." And then the final chapter begins. The believers, those who were patient, who remained steadfast, who repented even after sinning, are gathered in peace. Angels greet them with words of comfort. "Peace be upon you. This is the day you were promised." They are led toward paradise. Before them, rivers of milk, honey, wine, and water flow endlessly. Trees of unimaginable height bear fruit within reach. The air carries the scent of musk and the sound of joy. And as they near the gates of Jannah, they find them wide open, shining with the light of mercy and eternal reward. Inside are gardens beyond description, palaces built from gold and silver, companions purified and pleasing, food and drink without end, and a life without fear, pain, or sorrow. But the greatest reward is yet to come. For the highest honor is not the rivers, or the food, or the endless youth. It is seeing the face of their Lord. The believers are gathered. Allah removes the veil. And for the first time, they gaze upon the one they worshipped without ever seeing. It is a moment that no words can capture. Every joy in paradise is forgotten in that moment. This is the reward beyond imagination. And Allah declares, "I am pleased with you, and I will never be angry with you again." They dwell in eternal bliss, no sickness, no death, no grief, just peace. And so the day ends, not in darkness but in everlasting light for those who believed. For them, time has ended, but life has truly begun.